guys, we've got a full slate this evening, so we're gonna get started. I gotta tell you, today has been crazy. I back in the mid '90s, I used to do mixed martial arts, the stuff you see on TV, the cage fighting. I didn't get half as worked up before a bout as I've been worked up today, and I'm sure Sandy can attest to that. But I've been really looking forward to tonight. So my name is Steve Bazinet. I'm the president of the Maine Center for Enterprise Development, and the one who most of you can blame for lightening your pocketbooks a little bit or filling up your calendars over the next 3 months. And if I haven't done that yet, be prepared, I probably will. On behalf of MCED, our board of directors, Top Gun's board of advisors, and our primary sponsors for this event, the Maine Technology Institute, McDonald Page, Bernstein Sure Tech Ventures Group, ProSearch, and Right Express, I'd like to thank you for joining us in honor of Top Gun's inaugural class of 2009. Just to give you an idea of how the rest of the evening it will go, in just a few minutes we'll hear from our keynote speaker, Tom Chappell, and conclude the evening by hearing briefly from our 12 Top Gun founders. I think these Top Guns are getting a taste what it might like to be dealing with me over the next 12 weeks. I'm not so sure if they're all set with it or not yet, but we're going to find out. Before I do that, though, let me give you a little bit of a brief overview of how all this got started. I think it's a little bit of an interesting story anyway. It was November 12th, last year, 2008, and Kathy Renault's Office of Innovation convened some of the economic development leaders in the state to explore a leadership and entrepreneurial development program that would theoretically match up to 10 high-growth potential entrepreneurs with best-in-class training, resources, and mentors. This was simply a brainstorming session to take a look at what another program in the country called K-Tech Pipeline in Kansas had created. As I listened to the description of K-Tech program, I remember asking the consultant who developed it, and Kathy may remember this, isn't this kind of like the Top Gun program that the naval aviators utilize? And they confirmed that it was, and it kind of stuck. So hence the namesake for this program. Top Gun was born from the idea that we as a state had a lot more to offer than what was being betrayed. I asked people I respected when I first started down this path, what's missing from the current offering? What would you find of benefit? I was told that companies were unprepared for the rigors of a startup, lacking managerial talent to execute their plan, and unprepared when it came to presenting their business model to potential sources of capital. In effect, they didn't know what they didn't know. There was also the question of quality and quantity of Maine-based businesses to invest in. I remember being told that if we could create a program that addressed those issues, then we would have a meaningful program worthy of support and recognition. Now, that's not to say the goal of this program is to get funding for these participants. It's not. The goal of this program is to develop the entrepreneur who will in turn develop our state's future innovative businesses, thus attracting capital and talent. According to the 2008 Comprehensive Research and Development Evaluation, Maine has historically excelled in making programs available to spawn new startups. We perform less well, however, in turning them into high-growth ventures. In fact, Maine does not create many high-growth or gazelle businesses. For example, in 2007-2008 report, 4,600 businesses were created in Maine. Out of that, only 21 of them grew their businesses to more than 9 employees. That's less than 0.5%. Being new to this world of economic development and somewhat strong-minded and determined to make a difference, I set about to change the status quo. I met with the Maine Technology Institute in early February and applied for a cluster feasibility grant later that month. Our challenge was to demonstrate that there was enough strong private and investor support, as well as strong support from the entrepreneurial community, both existing and prospective, for this type of a program. I remember being told the key will be getting meaningful private support, private sector support. On the heels of this meeting, Matt Burns and Lib Butler organized a breakfast meeting with about a dozen local influentials to discuss the need for a program like Top Gun. I was encouraged by this initial showing of outreach and support. There was just some doubt, a little bit of doubt, that we could pull it off. Questions still remained. Were there really enough Top Gun caliber candidates in the state? Could we really find the support in the way of mentors and service providers willing to give back? And how would the program succeed where others had failed? We were given the opportunity to develop and pilot the program in March and awarded a cluster feasibility award of $50,000. Without their belief in this kind of program had to be given a chance, the status quo would not have been broken. Thank you, Maine Technology Institute. Without your support, this program would not exist.